Watch tomorrow night at 10. Tonight we continue our series of exclusive reports, JFK, the West Texas Connection. In 1971, Roscoe White, a former Marine and at one time a Dallas police officer, died after a suspicious fire in Paris, Texas. It would be years later before his son, Rickie White of Midland, would come across his father's military footlocker. Time would pass before Rickie would really examine the contents of that box, but when he did, his life would change forever. Among his father's possessions, Rickie found a small black diary. In it, he says, were the shocking details of his father's involvement in the assassination of President Kennedy. Rickie says his father used code names to refer to himself and others who positioned themselves in Dealey Plaza that fateful day in 1963.
His code name was Mandarin, and the other gentleman's name was Lebanon, the guy that was in the book depository, and Saul was located in the records building.
Also among his father's possessions, Rickie says, were a bank bag, a key to a safety deposit box, and a receipt for $200,000. He claims his father, Roscoe White, Jack Ruby, and Dallas police officer J.D. Tippet all had accounts at this bank. When Rickie and his mother, Geneva, checked on getting into the safety deposit box, bank officials told them they would have to probate his father's will, giving them power of attorney. But Rickie said that would have cost a lot of money he didn't have. And that's when Rickie says he asked Midland DA Al Shorey for help.
It led on Al wanting more information.
Him and J.D. Lucky came to the house 3 or 4 times and sat on the couch and went through everything and looked at everything and read everything. I know 3 times.
I know they came over 3 times and went through the same stuff.
Everything, Rickie says, except his father's diary.
Did J.D. Lucky or Al Shorey touch that diary, see it, open it up, look at it,
No.
anything in your house?
No.
Why was that?
No, I kept it at a distance. I always did. I never did hand it to anybody or give it to them. The people that did ever see it or did read it did it without my permission.
One of those people Rickie is referring to was employed as a babysitter. She agreed to an interview, but only if her identity was kept secret.
Did you see the diary? Have you ever seen the diary?
Yes, I have seen the diary, but at the time I did not know. I just knew it was a book that I was not supposed to be looking at. I remember seeing names, and I couldn't tell the names. I remember seeing numbers.
Rickie says 2 Midland FBI agents also looked through the diary without his permission after they came out to his house demanding he bring any assassination-related material he might have to the Midland Federal Building.
It was Butler that introduced himself first to me, and then
Ron Butler?
Ron Butler, and Ferris was standing beside him, and I tried to buck him a little bit, and I kind of pissed Butler off, and before I know it, he's pulling out a federal book, sitting there, man, not only do I want you to read it, I want you to read it out loud where I understand that you understand what I'm saying. You know, intimidate me.
I've spoken to Ron Butler. He told me on the phone that he was never at your house, has no idea where you live, never been there.
That's a downright lie. That's a lie.
The babysitter confirms Rickie's version of the events that day.
Why didn't you reveal your identity?
Because I'm calling the FBI liars. And they know it, and I know it, and I know what happened that particular day. And so we're just afraid for us. We're for me and my family.
The babysitter and Rickie remember loading all of his father's material, including the diary, into a box, and the 2 FBI agents followed him to the federal building. Rickie says he and the 2 agents were the only ones in the room, but that a man on a speakerphone asked a lot of questions. He said the 2 agents referred to the man as Arlen Specter. He is the Pennsylvania senator who had served on the Warren Commission. It was the Warren Commission that determined that Lee Oswald was the lone gunman in the Kennedy assassination.
They keep going over and pounding me about how my father's a thief. He stole these photographs. He made this story up. My brother says we better get photostack of copies of it. So he goes over to a Xerox machine, and there's Xerox and everything that was in that box.
So they had a Xerox copy of the diary?
Yes.
Every page in?
Yes.
Rickie says he then loaded the diary and everything back into the box and drove home. Rickie's wife, Tricia, says Rickie was extremely upset when he got home and that he put the box containing the diary on their pool table and headed for the bedroom, vowing he was through trying to prove his story because no one would believe him.
Here I thought that the FBI was people that you would look up and moderate as being trustful people. And here they let me down.
Minutes later, the doorbell rang.
And he said, hi. I was the Officer Rickie White going with the FBI, and I left my notepad in the box of stuff he brought home. I said, and I guess you need to get it. And he said, yeah. And I told him, I said, well, just follow through there, and it's back on the pool table. So I went back there, and by the time we got to where the door was, Rickie said, who is it? And I turned and went to the doorway. I didn't go in the bedroom, I just went to the doorway. And I said, it's somebody with the FBI. They said they left their notepad in the box. And as soon as I turned around, he was facing me. He said, thank you very much, I got what I needed. And walked out. And
I contacted the head of the Midland FBI, Tom Kurzweil. Kurzweil was more than cooperative in giving me an official statement on the matter. And while he was not stationed in Midland when all of this happened, he said, quote, we did interview Rickie White. He did bring documents to us. The FBI did not take them from his possession. The documents and interview were of no value. We never saw a diary, and one has never been in our possession.
And the denials of the FBI that they did not see or did not take the diary, from my experience with that agency, just don't wash.
If Rickie White's story is worthless, then why in January of 1988 did the FBI send a special agent to accompany Midland DA investigator J.D. Lucky around Dallas in his search for the truth? Lucky had gone there to look for a safety deposit box in which Rickie White believed his father had stashed $200,000. Did the FBI accompany you on this trip?
They did.
Did you go and oversee or look at these areas?
The night before, and that next morning, we went to these banks and savings and loans to see if that key would work in those safety deposit boxes. It did not.
You were aware of a secret document on the City of Dallas Police Department. Investigator Lucky said the FBI had met with Rickie White, had seen the pictures and diary. Is that correct?
I never said that. The FBI, to my knowledge, never saw the diary. We never saw the diary.
How do you think they could make such a mistake on this? I mean, is that easy for...
Well,
it seems like they would want to...
The only thing I'd say is that he may have misunderstood me.
When our attorney first contacted one of the agents in Midland, he said he almost threw up on the table. And I think that's the approach they've taken about this entire story, because it's very disturbing to them that this is all coming out.
I contacted the Dallas intelligence officer who filed the report on investigator Lucky and read him the part where he says Lucky made the statement that the FBI had met with Rickie White, had seen the pictures and diary. He told me, quote, if that's what it says in my report, that's what I was told. My reports are accurate. We also obtained the handwritten notes made by Officer Beavers before the report was typed and turned in to the captain overseeing the intelligence division. The handwritten notes match up with the report. So you decide, was there a diary? And if there was, did the FBI take it? JFK, the West Texas Connection continues Sunday night at 10. Our story takes us to Crane. Were the guns stolen from a ranch near there used to murder President Kennedy? Find out Sunday night at 10 on the Weekend Update. When we come back, Jay Gordon Lunn and your weekend weather forecast.